Get ready, boys.
We're live now. And guess what? We've got so much to talk about today. On the eve of the Stars beginning the season, we can't mess around with this long cold open. So Ryan, go. Now we got... This is the DLLS Stars podcast on Wednesday, October 8th, alongside Craig Ludwig, Sam Nestler, and our producer, Ryan Vaughters. I'm Owen Newkirk. Before we get into today's show, and we have a lot for you today, let's talk quickly about two big things. First, you know that the ball knower bonus this week, one of them is Cowboys-Panthers, who wins? Come on. I think we see what's going on here. Look, now, I'm not saying the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl or anything, but that's a really good bet. If you want to do that, go to our website, pick Cowboys or Panthers. I would say Cowboys, but that's just me. Then spend at least $25 up to a maximum of $250 on merchandise. If you get it right, you get basically doubling your money. So a gift card from DLS ALLCITY for the same amount you spent. So you could literally get 2 for 1. And talking about it, we have a Diehard sale going on. Diehards get 20% off. So you get even more, get a better deal if you sign up to be a Diehard. And you do it right now, you get 2 options. One, the regular $36 sale, which is the best sale we do as far as the least expensive year-long subscription to be a Diehard, and you get a free t-shirt. Or you can upgrade to $59 for the first year and get a very limited edition DLLS branded hat from Branded Bills. 2 great options, all the same perks of being a Diehard. Go to alldls.com/intro. This is a big day today because not only is the season starting tomorrow for the Stars, the season has actually begun already for the NHL, but we also have our final, you ready for this? 31st and final other 31. And I just got a text message from our guest confirming that he got my link and he's going to be on in the segment. Corey Masisak. I'll get that right eventually. He is the Avs beat writer for the Denver Post. He'll be joining us in the next segment to talk about the Colorado Avalanche, the one we intentionally saved for last. So
we almost saved it for game day.
We almost saved it for after the season started because it was getting that tight. We'll get to that. Let's talk about the big thing news over the last 48 hours, guys, which is the Stars went from the opening night roster to now what I call the season opening roster, the real one. They had to do a bunch of salary cap gymnastics, a bunch of moves, and the big one surrounded Jamie Benn getting placed on LTIR. Now, Sam, when we did Monday's show, I was pretty adamant they're not going to use LTIR for Jamie Benn if they don't have to, but because of Oskar Bäck's injury, which you got some clarity yesterday from Glenn Gulutzan, that changed all of their plans.
Yeah. Bäck is out at least a week or so, is what Glenn Gulutzan said, officially out for both of these first 2 games on IR. So that's as far as we know. We don't know whether this is something that could linger or if it's just going to be, after on Monday he's good to go. And so their backup plan, not even a backup plan. You're right. They had to have 12 forwards to play the game.
Well, they could have had 13 with Jamie on IR,
right?
Regular IR. Yep. They have the space, but then Oskar Bäck gets hurt, and now
you got to fill actual spots instead of just having
a 12 spot,
guy.
And then also have a backup because they're on the road.
Yep. So we saw them sign Adam Ernie to a 1-year contract, well deserved as their veteran, and that raised more questions. Is that going to be it, or is there going to be more? Because are they going to want 13? It would have really surprised me if they went to Winnipeg and Colorado with 12 forwards and 7 defensemen. So then they call backup our guy Justin Ritskovian, and it looks like he will be on the actual opening night roster headed to Winnipeg tomorrow. So good for the guys that we kind of all agreed deserve to be there.
Luds, we haven't learned, at least I don't remember from 12 years ago, the terminology that Glenn Gulutzan uses. We haven't learned the Gully language about injuries, right? Every coach has sort of subtle ways. Some are more clear than others. We learned the Lindy language. He's going to be out for a bit. Was very short. A little bit meant a little longer, and it kept going from there. Well, with Gully, he said with Oskar Bäck, at least a week or so. And if you take it at face value, that sounds like more than a week.
Yep.
So they're going to have to deal with Oskar Bäck maybe for 5 or 6 games or longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a big loss for me. No disrespect.
Man, just stomping on Oskar Bäck already.
Because I've been pretty clear about this. Is he understands his role, and the reason I say that is there's other guys that can fill that particular role that he does, I think. And so again, I know that there's nothing more important for a coach when you're down in your bottom 4 or 5 forwards that are in and out of the lineup at times. Not that Oskar is, but then trust. And I know they trust him. They trust him when he's on the ice to do the right things. But I think there's a couple other guys that can probably do the same thing.
Well, let's take a look at the lines from practice today, now that we have the real group, because we showed you the lines for Monday, and it was a little different. And there's a really interesting one. Actually, there's a whole bunch of this. Justin Ryscovian over Adam Ernie. Surprise to either of you?
Not to me. I think the way I'm looking at Adam Ernie is that he is a insurance plan for this team. They're going to play him, as Glutzen said. He's not letting anyone run on the vine and sit out for 15 games straight. But he is the 30-year-old. He's played. They know what he is. He's a bigger body. I think he is the insurance, and Ryscovian is the one who has probably the higher ceiling that could play a little more up and down the lineup.
Well, he had a big year, Ryscovian, in the AHL last year. Rookie of the year. The Texas Stars have had major award winners in consecutive seasons, with Stankoven and Bork getting rookie and MVP respectively. Luds, when you look at that, is Justin Ryscovian best served on the 4th line?
Nope. I would, again, just looking at these names, I would put Robo up there where Steele is. I would put Steele where Blackwell is. I would put Ryscovian where Robertson is. And I would put Ernie in where Ryscovian.
And you leave Blackwell as the extra.
So Blackwell's the extra.
And I think because now we're taking Colin Blackwell, who's a 4th line guy. We know that. Good energy guy. And we're taking him and putting him on his offside. Adam Ernie's left-handed. Why are we putting Blackwell over on his offside?
Glutzen loves him.
Huh? No, I do too.
No, I'm saying he loves those off wings. He keeps talking about it over and over again.
But you can love off wings, but they're skilled guys are off wingers that are the best.
Right.
That can get the puck on his backhand, pull it to a certain area of the ice. Not everybody can do that. And typically it's always your best players that are the easiest to play on their offsides. I don't even Tyler, one of the best players in this game for a long time. I don't know if Tyler really prefers to play. They like to play on their offside when they have the puck on their stick and they're coming across the offensive blue line, because now your shooting angle is different. But to be able to play in your own zone and get pucks off the wall, now the good news is they're taking pucks on their forehand. If you're a lefty and you're playing on the right wing, but to be able to take it on your forehand, that means you're facing the wrong end of the rink. So it's not that easy all the time. You can step off the wall and you can turn and you're on your forehand and make a pass, but you kind of limit yourself because everything's going up the middle of the ice. It's just, again, I think you have to be a really good, skilled guy to be able to play your offside.
If you're the coaching staff, and we saw throughout training camp that they didn't try to stick with one set of lines.
Right.
They tried a whole bunch of stuff.
And I'm
perfect
good with that,
right?
But again, it's twos for me. I put lines together in pairs. You can pull that up again, Ryan. Like I get like, and see for me, the top line there is right now they're saying it's Hinson, Rennan, and they've got a connection. So there's your pair.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see somebody that complements them. Okay, they put Steele there. It's Duchesne and Sagan. It's Johnson and who is it? On this one, it's Johnston and Robo, or is it Johnston and Bork, which is fine. You can go either way. And so then we get down to the Foxa line, and that it is what it is down there. Bastian is a straight line guy. Ryscovian's got a little bit more skill. I just think by putting Ryscovian down there, because he's got a little bite to him, right? He can skate well, but I think he can create some things offensively. But he's got to be able to get the puck. I don't know if that's the right two guys to play with.
It's funny. I was just looking at that lineup. Remember when Foxa was signed, and a lot of people were saying like, why? They don't need more of these type of guys. Now you're looking at the lineup. It's pretty important that they have Foxa down there.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're filling in another spot with someone lesser than that.
His heaviness and face-off ability and penalty killing were missed. Now, the Stars' penalty kill was really good last year without him, but they are going to love having him back at a little bit cheaper AAV.
And that's the size Pete DeBoer was looking at. Even though he's a centerman, he wanted on the walls, but we know that he can play on the wall if he has to. I don't know if he's as effective on the wall as he is in the middle of the ice, because he is so strong on faceoffs. And he's one of them reliable guys. End of the period, end of games, you're up by a goal or so. You want that faceoff one, and he's the guy that can probably do that.
All right, we have a lot to get to in the next 5 minutes. We probably won't get to it all, but let's talk about the let's do the videos real quick. Then we'll get to the defense. Adam Ernie spoke yesterday after signing a deal with the Stars, 1 year, 2-way contract, minimum AHL or minimum NHL salary, and didn't really take for granted, but he also is feeling much better because of his hip surgery. Here's a two-parter.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been around long enough to know it's all, until it's set in stone, it's all numbers and contracts and how it adds up against the cap, and until you signed on the dotted line, there's nothing for certain.
Based on your journey from the hip surgery and coming back, how do you feel now that you're sort of past all that and where you're going?
I feel the best I've felt. I feel like I'm skating like I was when I was, back in Tampa before the original injury, and I don't think I realized how much it was affecting me because it just happened over such a long period of time, so slowly. And now that it's fixed, I just feel like I'm skating so much better.
That's the part I wanted everyone to hear. Like, obviously, there were two things. I asked him, I didn't play the clip because it was a short answer, when he found out that he was going to be signing. And he said yesterday. Now, this was yesterday, so he meant he found out Monday afternoon. So at the end of 2 weeks or 3 weeks of training camp, he found out basically around the time they were announcing opening night rosters, which he wasn't on that roster because they had to put Jamie Benn on LTIR on Tuesday, aka yesterday. But Luds, that part at the end, he feels better now than he did the original injury years ago. It's like 5 years ago. And he didn't realize how much it was affecting him until now that he feels healthy and pain-free.
Sound like Tyler Seguin a little bit?
It
Sound
does.
like Jamie Benn, a lot of
Yes.
other players in the league that play through everything for the most part. Hockey players play through stuff. Oops.
Sugar Honey Iced Tea.
Yep. They play through things. And, and then when a player becomes healthy, it's like, now I can go show what I can do.
Well, you're trained to play through pain.
Yeah.
All the time, nagging things, right? Short-term injuries. Sometimes you have stuff that you play through for more than one season, and you just get used to it. I'm not saying you like it, but I'm not going to be able to go up a flight of stairs without pain today, or getting in and out of my car is going to hurt, or rolling over in bed is going to be uncomfortable. You just deal with it.
Imagine how many football players that may be listening to this going, you guys want to talk about pain?
Right. And so, but
Yeah.
to think about,
are you thinking there's no football players listening to this probably, Sam?
I wasn't listening.
Oh, that's a good answer.
but that's my point is, all of a sudden that pain's gone, and you go, I forgot what it feels like to not have that there.
Well, and I think the best part for guys, obviously like Adam, but confidence. Now I can show them what I can really do. They really see what I can do. And when you're injured and you're trying out or you're trying to find a spot, you're not going to use the excuse. You don't, because that's the last thing we want. Like, yeah, my foot's sore. Well,
Right.
Well, then go be sore
And
someplace
he's
else.
one of those guys that can't lean on that because he's on the edge of the lineup.
Bubble guy, yeah.
Right. Well, here's what Glenn Gulletson said yesterday about why Adam Ernie made the roster.
I think what you all probably witnessed is a little bit is weight, right? He gives you some weight and some heaviness, and a big body that can play in heavy games, and he knows his role. I know him from Edmonton, and certainly he's got good character for a team, fits in well. So that's what he adds.
What Gully said there went before, because it's what I didn't say, but I was thinking it. I used a different term. He's a load. Like when he plays, he looks like he's a load.
Yes.
Like he's a bit of a bulldozer coming down the wall, going to the front of the net, and he's got a wide, not a super wide base, but you can tell people will bounce off of him. And I think that's exactly. And again, I go back to Pete DeBoer. I mean, those are the kind of guys that he was looking for at the time. And Gully, when he says I go back to the day, he understands what he can do when he was maybe not 100% healthy, but now he understands, okay, now if this guy's healthy now, and we saw what he could do when he wasn't, he could be effective.
Yeah, it gives him both options, right? He said it even today. I asked him directly, like, what do you see Ritzkovian versus Ernie? And he said the same thing. Heavy, veteran, brings that size, but Ritzkovian brings a little more energy, a little speed, more speed, and brings that flexibility, being able to play center, being able to play wing, being able to, I mean, realistically play with Duchesne and Seguin or jump up and down a little bit more. So it's might be a little bit of both here. We might see both these guys coming in and out because they bring different things, which is what I think the theme of this season is going to be.
And, I'm sitting here and I'm complaining to you guys before we start about the lines and stuff like that. These guys that are in the room with them every single day, they understand who they are. That's why they're putting them where they are. But I see the concept. Like, again, I believe in the 2+1. I'm sitting there, why not put him on his strong side? There's a reason they have Blackie over there on his offside. There's a reason. I don't know what the reason is. I just think it's easier for him. Now, if it was the skilled guy over there, like it was Alish Hemsky, I would say, because we skated with Alish, I would put him on his offside. He's a super skilled guy, but he may not be as effective as Blackie with those two guys.
Because you don't necessarily
because they're
need
all
another
the
skill
same
guy.
kind of thing.
Yes.
We need a guy that's going to go to the net and be that shift disturber at
Nice.
the front of the net. See that, Ryan?
He is
I'm
leaning
good.
on it today.
You're on the edge all day.
But that's what he's trying to find in every line. He wants that guy that'll cause a little chaos at the front of the net.
All right, we're going to talk about the defense and some audio from Petrovic and Glenn Gulletson about that in our fourth segment, because up next, we have to put a bow on the offseason series, the other 31, Colorado Avalanche. We do that next with Corey Masisak from the Denver Post.
Game time.
Nope.
You didn't think I could start it with it, but challenge accepted.
You surprised
Let's talk
me.
about game time, because no, I did not go to Boston to use it for a Red Sox game.
It had to be the Miami Hurricanes.
I used it for the Miami
It
Hurricanes,
had to be the Miami Hurricanes.
who are less than a month away from coming right here down the street to SMU, and I used game time to get those tickets. Got amazing seats. Super easy to use, guys. Really, it's much easier to look at. It's much easier to look at all the angles of where you're going to be. They give you all-inclusive pricing up front. Makes everything really easy. The checkout's easy, and you get yourself where you want to be sitting in those seats. College football's here. NFL season's here. So many things. Hockey season's already here. So many ways you can use game time. It's the best way to get your tickets, guaranteed. Now, let me tell you about game time in a second whenever this loads, and it's not loading.
Well, you got 5
Take
seconds.
the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app
Man,
today.
your system worked flawlessly, didn't it? Let's talk about Shady Rays. This is for all those times where things don't work flawlessly.
Dang it, lads.
You're trying to read your tablet and it doesn't work. You're trying to read your computer. Maybe you're just trying to remember where your favorite sunglasses were left, whether it was at the rink, in the studio, or maybe you drove over them with your car by accident. Well, Shady Rays changes the game because they make sunglasses for real life. Seriously good-looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And if you ever lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair, no guilt trip, just replacement. So you can wear your sunglasses without fear, whether you're going on a hike, you're going to a concert, a boat, anywhere in between. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com. Use the code DLLS35 right down at the corner of the screen for 35% off polarized sunglasses. All right. We've spent several months surveying the entire NHL list of teams.
Landscape.
We started, thank you, good word. We started with the Washington Capitals with our buddy John Walton, their radio broadcaster. We've had GMs, Doug Armstrong, although he wasn't technically part of the other 31, Billy Guerin. So we did USA, Canada, and NHL all in one. We had broadcasters, we had play-by-play, we had color commentators, we had writers.
We had 2 guests at once in our Montreal show.
That was chaos incarnate. And do we have our last one ready to go, Ryan? So let's bring on Corey. There he is, the closer of our summer series. It's not summer anymore, but bringing on the Colorado Avalanche with one of the Avs beat writers from the Denver Post. It's Corey Masisak. Hi, Corey. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Now, unfortunately, we missed it by a day because the Avs have actually played a game. So this doesn't count as offseason, but it does for the Stars, and we've been packed with training camp. So we're going to go back first, and then we'll get into what happened last night and current Avs. But you knew this was coming, Stars and Avs. It's been a rivalry for a while, couple of playoff series head-to-head now in consecutive seasons. We'll talk about Mikko Rantanen in a minute, although he's kind of a big part of all. Maybe we should just start with that. Let's go with Mikko. Okay, and then we'll get to the playoffs because he's involved in every aspect of these topics. From your perspective, covering the team on the ground in Denver every day, what happened with Mikko Rantanen and the Avalanche?
I think, I mean, on one hand, there are like people who feel like they still don't know exactly what happened, but on the other hand, like it felt like there was more reporting and kind of narrowing down between the two numbers where exactly this. I mean, it really feels like, depending on who you talk to and depending on who you trust, it really came down to, a matter of hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, not like they weren't like some far number off.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and so there was a whole, there's a few different things in play there. I think in locally here, I think some people maybe underrated the fact that like the last negotiation with Miko and his representation was a little contentious. It dragged out. There was like a little bit of a holdout situation that was whatever that was, years ago, but still that was, I don't know how much that really played into it this time, but it's part of it. It was just like everybody knew that the salary cap was going up, but like if the Avalanche had waited a few weeks, they might have known exactly how much the numbers were going to go up. So that I think that played into it. Yeah, it's the part of the long tail of this. Obviously, we'll get to what happened after Miko left here, but like the long tail of it is still it's still unfolding. Like the big story here now is the guy they traded for him or got back for him. What is Martin Netsch going to get, and what is that going to look like compared to the contract that Rantanen signed in Dallas? And maybe those things shouldn't be as connected as they are, but they are. And yeah, no, it was that's just that happened. We were all in Boston that night when he got traded to Carolina, and the next day they played a game at 1:00, like less than 12 hours or whatever, 15 hours after the trade, and that was just like a surreal experience being in that locker room after the game. Like, I mean, that was one of the probably most emotional interviews Nathan MacKinnon has ever done. He was just very raw, very honest about just this sort of thing. Also kind of happened with Gabe Landeskog. His last contract, it went like let's put it this way. They thought it was just going to go the same way. Like Gabe's negotiation went right down to like 11:00 p.m. the night before he could have become a free agent. They got the deal done. And I think everybody in there, like in Miko's kind of close circle in Colorado, they all just thought like, well, this will, even if it goes to June 30th on 11:30 p.m., it'll get done. And then it didn't. And then he was gone. And it was just a surreal. I mean, last year was, I mean, you guys mentioned John Walton. I was covering the Capitals in John's first year, and he just put out a thing this morning saying it was his 15th anniversary, which is just a way to say that I'm old. But like it just, like I've been around 4 different teams and seen a lot of stuff, and that was that night and that next day, and then they played again the next day in New York. That whole weekend was just one of the weirdest weekends of my time as a beat writer.
Let me ask you one follow-up before I unleash Luds on you. With Rantanen and the Avalanche, Miko has come to Dallas, and his first press conference, they were on the road when he met the team, but then his first press conference in Dallas, he was not only dispelling what he felt was mistruths being sort of disseminated from the Hurricanes about his desire to, or his willingness to consider Raleigh as a destination, but also he was very clear. He wasn't looking to leave Denver. He wanted to stay with Colorado. Is that the sense that you have being in state, that this was a mistake by the front office and started misreading whether they thought, I mean, from the outside, it seems like they thought they were going to lose him for nothing.
I mean, I think it was probably, I think if you gave some truth serum to both sides, I would say that both sides probably they misread the other side's intentions a little bit. Like, I don't necessarily think that the Avalanche thought they were ever going to, like, he was going to go to July 1st and leave. I think from the Avalanche side, it was more, they just basically set a hard line and said, look, we're already paying Nathan MacKinnon $12.6 million. Cale Makar is going to get a blank check. And they were like, we can't have these 3 guys making, whatever. Like if he had the number out there before the Carolina trade was $14 million. I think part of it was maybe the Miko side, maybe they didn't come down fast enough. Although Rantanen would dispute that, even because there was this meeting with him and management a few days before the trade where he basically like said, agent, get out of the way. I'm going to talk to them directly and tell them that I want to stay and I'll take less money. That's what he said. And then a couple days later, the trade happened. So it was like that, like basically what happened between the meeting with Rantanen and Chris MacFarland and the actual trade, that last like 24, 36 hours, that's like the last maybe bit of truth that hasn't been uncovered exactly. It was such a weird trade because like most of the time, one of these like mega deals happens, and like there's some like after the fact, here's what was happening. There was so much information that came out after the trade, but it still didn't really feel like, okay, we know exactly what happened like this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So yeah, but to answer the original part, like I think Mikko definitely, I don't think even the when he was walking down the hallway to go meet with the general manager to be told he was traded in that hotel in Boston, maybe that was when he realized like, oh man, are they actually going to trade me? But like I think even leading up to that, he never thought he was leaving Denver.
Well, Corey, I have lots of ways I want to go right now. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole Mikko thing, and I'm not a very big distraction kind of guy. These guys, I don't like them. And what was going on in that team last year, it was like there was a revolving door, right from the beginning of the jump and the players in there. But since you brought it, quit screwing with my mic. Hurts your mouth. Corey, but since you brought it up, like, let's talk about Makar. Like, again, we're talking numbers, right? And so do you think that it has anything to do what Kaprizov did, and then now there's what McDavid did? My opinion would be no. Like, they've got a number, and is he the kind of guy that can walk in similar to what McDavid would do, where he can go, this is what I want? And I don't think he's that kind of player that will take the 20% or anything like that. But how do you see that playing out with him?
I mean, I think Cale Makar, just as a player and a talent, I think there were plenty of teams out there that would be happy to give him 20% of the salary cap if that ever came about. I mean, I think he can name his number. Just from getting to know him over the last 2 years, I don't see him doing that. Like he just seems so like to me, like the two things that I know about Cale is that he's like a perfectionist beyond levels of other NHL players. Like he scored a goal against Winnipeg in 2 playoffs ago that was like one of the most ridiculous goals I've ever seen, and he kind of blew it off as like he got lucky, and it was an end-to-end incredible. Anyway, he will be the unquestioned star of the game. He will dictate every inch of the ice, and then after the game he'll say, well, I could have made this one play or something. So that's one part of him. The other part of it is I just don't see him. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see him being just the humbleness that he has and all that. He just doesn't seem like a guy who's gonna like be like, I want $18 million or $20 million. I think that the Kaprizov thing is interesting to me just because just where Minnesota is, and obviously Kirill had like all the leverage in the world, and I think that maybe the Connor McDavid doing what he did, maybe that's sort of. I think there were a bunch of general managers around the league who kind of took a deep breath, like, oh, okay, well, like, so they're not all going to get 17 million, like, and so because there's all these guys coming up, right? And so, I mean, look, to go back to the day that Mikko got traded, one of the kind of the lighter moments of the whole thing was Nathan McKinnon saying, look, I want Mikko to get what he's worth. He deserves all the money. He's an amazing player. Cale's got a thing coming up. I think Cale's worth $20 million, or he said, I think Cale deserves $20 million. And then even in that moment, I was like, I don't know if his bosses wanted him to say that, but yeah, no, that's the thing. I mean, Cale's a $20 million player in the new salary cap, just like Connor McDavid is, just like Quinn Hughes might be. But I don't think any of those guys are going to go that crazy.
You want to knock out the break now rather than try to squeeze in a half a question and say, okay, Corey, don't go anywhere. We have a lot more to talk about. We won't be able to fit it all in another segment, but we'll try our best here on DLLS.
Our latest Diehard sale is in full swing, and fans now have 2 ways to join. You can get in for just $36 with a limited edition shirt, or you can step up and grab a limited branded Bills Diehard hat for $59 before they sell out. Maybe you've had your eyes on one of our great t-shirts, like the Finnish Mafia shirt, the Otter shirt, maybe the 16-bit Wyatt Johnston shirt, or Mikko the Moose, and that's in a Stars colors, not the Avs colors. You can pick whichever one you want as your free t-shirt when you sign up to be a Diehard, or go bigger and get your hands on the Branded Bills Diehard hat. Limited quantities available on the hats. Once they're gone, they're gone. Either way, you get all the Diehard perks, premium content, including excellent written articles about the Stars, Cowboys, Mavs, and Rangers, event and merch discounts, the members-only Discord, and more. Join now and become a diehard at alldls.com/intro. You know, as you're doing all the motions to him, you're on camera, so they can all see that.
Was it a distraction? Well, you said excellent written articles. I was just pointing at the guy.
I didn't know what you were
those
pointing
articles.
at.
I used to mention his name, but not anymore. They all know we're talking about.
He's not
him.
worth it. I want to talk about Supporters Club, right? Let me
I
tell you
think we
about
have
it.
something new.
Let me tell you about it. Supporters Club, I'm not going to tell you all the boring stuff right now. True sickle level stuff for the real ones, you know, it's next level. But the real important thing is we promised you guys, if the more people that join the Supporters Club, the more fun things we're going to do, including emojis. As I'm looking at my chat here right now, Ardell, Lud's emoji. And I'm looking at it. And yeah, it's real. There is a Craig Ludwig emoji. And it's not just his cartoon from our site either. It is a new, very good-looking Craig Ludwig emoji that now is available to use if you join the Supporters Club.
You see the other one?
What was the other one?
Well, there's 4 that T.O., who's been very
Supporters Club
generously
General.
handing out Supporters Club 1-month memberships to people. The Stanley Cone.
Oh, no
the cones in
way.
there?
Right here.
Oh, the Stanley
we have
Cone.
a Stanley Cone
What's that
emoji. That looks like a basketball character. Maybe
Why is
that's
there no beer mug in there? Or, like,
one at a
part of
time.
it?
We got to have things
The
to
Stanley
build on.
Cone,
The
no, that's
Stanley
cool.
Cone
They have
making
a
it.
Luz
Choice
and a
is
Stanley
legendary.
Cone.
So join the Supporters Club right now so you can join in on all the fun.
All right, let's bring Corey back on the screen. And Sam,
Yes.
we haven't even gotten to you one question lap yet because of all the Miko stuff.
Yes.
So
I'm not going to ask about Miko.
you could. There's
but
lots more to get to there.
It's related to Miko. Corey, you mentioned Natchez. I know he's a good player, but is he anywhere near Miko Rantanen?
Sam, what kind of pace is he on?
And 180.
Yeah, he's on a big pace right now.
But the second part of that is he going to end up getting close to or near what
say
Miko
it.
wouldn't get in Colorado?
Yeah, that's the we were talking about it in the press box in LA last night. If you recall the first game of the season last year, which was just an absolute mess for the Avs, they lost 8-4 in Vegas. A player scored a hat trick that night. He plays for Dallas now. And so it was just the symmetry there of like Martin Necas in his first game in his contract year going for a hat trick. Look, he's no, I mean, look, I think he's probably like a half a tier down from Miko. I mean, I personally have, he basically since the day I started covering him, have thought that, Miko Rantanen is one of the 5 or 6 best, wings in the NHL. In his best year, he's the second best or third best, and so I think Marty is probably in like that next level. I put him like maybe I don't know if this isn't that hot of a take, but like somewhere between Jason Robertson and Miko Rantanen. And so he's going to get a lot of money. I mean, that's not, I mean, in some ways the Avalanche front office has to look at this as like two separate things. Like the salary cap has changed. The economics of the NHL have changed, but also Miko took less money than he could have gotten to stay with Dallas. And now we just saw Kyle Connor got $12 million this morning. Kyle Connor's not as good as Miko Rantanen, but he got $12 million. So like, I mean, I think there's almost no question that Martin Necas' next contract is going to start with a 1. It's going to have 2 digits in front of the first comma, and the closest they can get to 10 is probably going to would be a win for them if they do indeed get a contract done. I don't expect it to be an 8-year deal. I'm guessing it'll probably be somewhere in the middle there. If they do get it done, I think the Avalanche clearly want to get something done. He's not as proven a playoff performer as Miko Rantanen is, but I saw something this morning when people were talking about the Jets and Kyle Connor, like the opportunity cost, and just like, I think the Avs did very well to get a player as good as Martin Necas in that deal for Miko Rantanen. It wasn't entirely like 75 cents and a quarter for $1. Like it was more like 89 cents or 92 cents or something like that. But like to try to do that again, to try to like flip Necas for another player of similar elite status, I don't know if that's gonna, we don't know how that's gonna go. And eventually one of those doesn't work out and you're just you're screwed. So I do think that kind of in the same way that like the Jets probably didn't want to spend as much money as they did to keep Kyle Connor, I'm guessing this time around might go a little bit differently just because of what the next couple years look like if they don't re-sign Martin Necas.
I'm getting the sense that Corey would pass on Marty Necas.
Or not cry over losing him.
I shouldn't say pass, but let's not give him $12 million.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, like in a vacuum, I don't know about 12. We'll see. I think, we were, again, people just sort of joking around a little bit last night. Like, every 2-goal game, does the number go up? Does it go down? Whatever. Like, but I just, look, I mean, look, you can go back and read some of the stuff that I wrote. Like, to me, the Colorado Avalanche, the thing that made them a unique team in the NHL was that they had 3 of the 15 best players in the world. And, Marty is not one of the 15. I mean, he's in the 20s or 30, whatever it is. But it's just like, I would have signed Mikko Rantanen. I would have just figure it out. If you have 3 of the best players in the world, you just figure the rest out. And, but that's not the direction they went. So I think now, like, they're there, like I said, it would be, you look like, I think about like in the NBA, this stuff happens all the time. It's like you let one star go and another one shows up, as the Mavericks have learned. But like, not every team gets that lucky, but it's kind of how it works, right? Like the Golden State Warriors let a guy go and they get another guy. It doesn't really work that way in the NHL that often. Like my favorite stat of this offseason was that 49 of the 50 top scorers in the NHL are still on the same team as they were at the end of the year last year. Like only one top 50 scorer changed hands all offseason. So like all of these teams, we're going to get to this year eventually, like the Stars and the Avs are almost exactly what they were a year. Like they're the same teams. Like this is just, so like, to me, the best way to keep up with the Joneses, being Edmonton, Dallas, and Vegas, is to keep this group together as long as they can.
Okay. Again, like I said, we have too much to talk about. Game 7 of the first round, the goalie situation with Blackwood being injured right now, but Wedgie playing well, a guy we love here. The distractions of Val Nichushkin, all that goes into that. But I got to lean towards Gabe Landeskog. He came back. It was a very emotional return during the playoffs.
So cool.
Now he's played a regular season game for the first time, I think, in over 3 years. And he's got to figure out how to go back through the grind of an NHL season. What's it been like watching this unfold in your time in Denver?
Man, I mean, just insane. Like I was thinking about it, just trying to write like a big story about him to start the season. It was, for the first 2 years that I was here, whatever, year and 9 months, it was just, is Gabe Landeskog going to play one more NHL game? Like the over under was literally 0.5. Like he's either never going to play again or he's going to come back. And now, because he played so well against Dallas, and because he had a, like kind of like whatever you want to call it, like just a normal offseason, he looked really good in camp. Now the whole calculus of all of it has changed. It's like, can he just be the old Gabe Landeskog? And so far, he's pretty much, that's what it's been. I mean, he had another game last night that looked exactly like the Dallas series, where when he's on the ice, the Avs have the puck, they shoot the puck, the other team doesn't. And I mean, look, we don't know, he's going to have to, is he going to play 3 games in 4 nights? Are they going to sit him during back-to-backs? Right now, they're saying there is no minutes restriction, although he didn't play a ton of minutes last night, like compared to the games in Dallas. And there's no games restriction. They're just basically going to go every day and say, Gabe, how do you feel today? Do you need today off from practice? Are you okay to play? And that's just kind of going to be the way it's going to go. I think, I would imagine that at some point over the course of the season, he's going to have some sort of small, every player that comes back from a major injury is going to have some sort of little tweak or something. But I mean, I think the expectations are he's going to be very good. And that's kind of what it's looked like so far.
You know what? I'm going to jump on Luds real quick here. What stood out to me last night in that first period was the Josh Manson hit, which was, by the way, a very clean hit. And then the LA response. And after that fight, who's right in the ear of Malat for the LA Kings? It's Gabe Landeskog. And that's because Malat was yelling at you saw this. But for those that didn't, the LA Kings forward was barking after the fight at the LA Kings bench. And who gets in his ear on the ice but number 92?
Yeah, it was the Avs weren't real happy with like the fact that it was Malat. I mean, Manson hit Warren Fogle. Fogle goes to the bench. Malott comes off the bench and goes straight at Manson. I kind of only caught it out of the corner of my eye because the puck had gone the other way, but it almost looked like he threw like a Superman punch. Like he literally like almost jumped into the fight. Like, but anyway,
it was like a WWE move, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. We weren't watching the broadcast, but I've been told that John Buccigross said like 5 times that Jeff Malott's brother is a UFC fighter.
He did.
But yeah. So no, I thought the Avs look. Gabe's first preseason game, somebody hit Cale Makar up high, and he immediately went over and fought the guy, and the whole place just went. I mean, it was like I haven't really covered him that much, but people who have been around Gabe for a long time know like that's like they were so excited to see him fight, and I'm just like, it's the first preseason game, maybe he shouldn't. But anyway, look, they all said it was kind of a feeling out game. Look, until Josh's hit, they scored while Malott was in the penalty box. And then they scored on each of his next 2 shifts. So it was kind of like, it almost felt like, yeah, if you're going to play a guy who plays like that, we're going to, take advantage of that. So
I wanted to go back to distractions, but I had something else. I distracted myself in a little bit. Are you gonna? But I don't want to steal anything. Are you going to ask a college question by any chance?
No.
Okay. Corey, I'm going to just change it up a little bit here. Your thoughts on Matt Carle? What do you think? Is he going to be hockey coach here?
David Carle.
Or sorry, David Carle. Matt Carle.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Carle plays. David Carle. Your thoughts on him? I mean, there was a lot of talk, possibly last year and things like that. As a matter of fact, there were some guys here that thought he was going to be coaching here, which I told them they didn't have a chance. But your thoughts on David Carle?
Yeah, I covered them a little bit here and there. Like I was there, I guess 2 seasons ago at the Frozen Four when they won. I mean, he's a great coach. There are lots of guys who are really good college coaches. I mean, but I think Jim Montgomery's a good example, right? Like he came from the same program. Like Jim Montgomery's just a very good coach. And it was interesting. Like I really thought, given the jobs that came open, including the one in Dallas, it was like, man, if David Carle, like there are some really, really good jobs open, right? And he just, his thing all along has been like, I'm however he is, 34, 35 years old. He's like, I could stay here for 10 more years and still be the youngest coach in the NHL. So he just doesn't seem like he's in any hurry. I think the whole, the changing landscape in college hockey has actually made it like he's real happy with the fact that he doesn't have a football team to take away the NIL dollars or the revenue sharing dollars. And he's very happy that it seems like a lot of the best WHL players want to come play for him. And so they've got this whole new roster this year. And but I do think I just go back to that Frozen Four 2 years ago. They played BU and BC, and both of those teams had several future NHL players, and they just they shut them down. Denver is a very offensive team. They're usually one of the best teams in the NCAA at scoring goals. But when it's time to game plan for Macklin Celebrini or Cutter Gauthier, he can do that too.
They just play that style. I want to talk now. I want to talk about college hockey. You should have said 20 minutes ago. We could have kept going. Corey, I'm going to ask you about Scott Wedgwood. We mentioned him before. We know a lot about him off the ice and all those fun things. And if there was more time, we would talk about it. But I'm curious for you. He has a chance here, it feels like. And I'm wondering how close he is to that middle line where he could earn himself maybe more games. Is it a starter backup? Is it a 1A, 1B? If he plays well enough, what kind of leash could he get with Blackwood being out?
I think he could get a few more games. I mean, they're pretty, I think Jared Bednar is like a 57-25 guy if he can be. And they brought in Mackenzie Blackwood, and he played really well for them last year, and they've paid him like they want him to be there. He's not making as much as say Jake Ottinger, but he's making enough that they want him to be the number one guy. I don't know. It's kind of unclear how many games Blackwood is actually going to miss. They didn't even put him on. He's on the roster. They didn't even put him on injured reserve. So he may, and he's been started practicing. He might. They don't have to use another goalie for the first 8 games. So I'm assuming Wedgwood is going to get somewhere between 2 and 6, somewhere in there before it's Mackenzie Blackwood time. And so, but look, he did, all the stuff that the Avalanche did last year. Wedgwood was the first guy in. He was the guy. They made whatever it was. 8 trades. They brought in 10 players. He was the first one, and it was startling, really, to me, to see a goalie come in and just all right, guys, like this mess is over. Like we're all getting in on one. Like, there's some stuff maybe with who the previous goalies and the guys not getting along with them or whatever. But like he just came in and and then Blackwood came along like 10 days later, and all of the mess with the goaltending just kind of went away. And I mean, you guys, as you said, you guys know Scott. Like he's a beloved figure in basically every locker room he ever goes in, and it was crazy to see how quickly that happened here. He just like within a week or two, it was like, oh yeah, no, like Scott's like, basically an assistant. He could basically wear an A on this team. It's essentially So yeah, I think I think he could end up the season with 30 or 32 or 30, depending on health, obviously. Because Mackenzie Blackwood hasn't always been like the super healthy guy. So, but yeah, like we part of the thing with the Avalanche this year is that hey, they're settled. They've got a healthy team. Well, they don't have their starting goalie, but they're so confident in Scott Wedgwood that they're just like, yeah, as long as he's only going to miss a few games, it's not a big deal.
All right, Corey, we're almost out of time. And ordinarily we would ask, because we've done it with everybody we've had throughout the series, their thoughts of the Dallas Stars going into the season. But I have to ask this because I would be not doing my job if I didn't. What was the reaction, the perspective, and the fallout of Game 7 of the playoffs when Rantanen did his thing?
Yeah. I mean, I called it on on an Avalanche podcast. I think it's one of the most devastating losses in NHL history. I'm not really sure, and I don't feel like that's hyperbole because like you just all of everything about it, like the Dallas part of it, the the Jared Bednar versus Peter DeBoer part of it, and then you throw in this guy is literally, I mean, he was at Nathan McKinnon's wedding this summer. Like this guy is like really some of his best friends in the whole NHL are on this team, and they're 12 minutes away from exercising the Dallas demon. Jared's exercising the DeBoer demon, and then Mikko Rantanen just took out his sword and stuck it through their heart. And like it was just, I mean, it was incredible. I mean, it was. Look, I mean, I have only covered a little bit of Mikko Rantanen's career, but I know that he is a playoff killer. And like, it kind of went to 11 there for about a week and a half last year. But I mean, to be me personally as an outsider, like I'm not from here, I was a little surprised that more Avalanche fans didn't kind of turn on Avs I thought Avs management was going to kind of get some grief, like, oh wait, you guys screwed up, you should have kept Mikko. And it was more like they were just kind of waiting for him to have like 3 games where he didn't score, and so they could be like, oh no, see, this is what he does. Like he's the best player in the world for a week and then he disappears. And I don't really think that's true, but that's I think people that's coping or whatever, but it was definitely a like whatever the actual time lapse was from when it was 2-0 to the 4-2. It was, oh man, this team's going to the conference finals, look out Edmonton, to oh, like what like what do we do, like what happened, the season's over. It was stunning, and in a way that like, I mean, I've covered a bunch of Game 7s in my career, and that was easily the most like stunning ending of any of them.
Man, we're just beginning. We have so much more.
I don't even know if Sidney Crosby's going to play there in the playoffs.
Yeah. Corey, absolutely thrilled to have you on. We'll have to do it again soon, but thank you so much for carving out some time today, and we'll do it again, but really, really thank you. Great stuff today.
Thanks, Corey.
Thanks, Corey.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I guess they'll see Mikko on Saturday. So, but yeah. So his welcome back again is on Saturday. So yeah.
Oh,
anyway.
I can't wait. I'll see you on Saturday.
Again,
I'll be there too.
Sam will be there, so make sure you say hi.
No. Sam's scheduled to be there.
Supposed to be
Doesn't
there.
mean he's going to be there.
The flight might go to the wrong country.
Oh man, that's amazing. Thanks, Corey.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Corey.
it. There's Corey.
Thanks for having me.
Corey Masisak, who is the beat writer for the Avalanche for the Denver Post. Up next, talk about the Stars' defense on their opening roster.
Oh, it's not over?
It's not over yet. We got one more segment here on DLLS.
Is it me?
And me.
All right.
Down.
I gotta tell you guys about the newsletter. We have an amazing newsletter here at DLS. Our guy Ali over on the Cowboys Show does it 5 days a week, and it is fantastic. You get all kinds of inside information, clips from shows, big guests that come on, articles that were written. He's pretty funny with the way he writes as well, so it's entertaining. You go to alldls.com/newsletter. You can sign up, but you can also click the button underneath that I think says check it out, and you can see all of the existing newsletters. So check it out to see what is actually on there, what Ali writes about, what kind of stuff we put in there. And it's a fun place to get that stuff because email is the easiest way to communicate with everybody, right? So if you get that every morning, you get to see what happened on the Rangers show, what happened on the Cowboys show, what are the Stars talking about, what kind of guests did they have last week? And it's a really easy way to get all the information quickly each day. So go to alldls.com/newsletter and sign up today. It will be worth it, I promise.
All right. That boy on the button, Sam.
Yeah.
Well done.
Started it off perfectly.
No,
too.
you were really good there. Let's talk about two things quickly because we have to cram them into one ad spot. One, you know this already. The Stars Takeover, the DLS Stars Takeover, sold out. Can't get it anymore. But boy, it's going to be a lot of fun. December 7th, we are, along with a group of DLS, not all necessarily diehards, but boy, it felt like it was mostly sold out before it went public. Only the diehard heads up here. Another great reason to be a diehard. Come into the studio, watch pregame a little earlier. Go to Hooters next door and have dinner with us. Then go to the game and sit with us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sit with us.
Then, if that wasn't enough, ball no or bonus. I mentioned at the top of the show, one of the choices this week is Dallas Cowboys versus Carolina Panthers. Who's going to win? Be a diehard, get all that access, buy some merch, and then double your money. Get a extra gift card for whatever you spent. Go to alldls.com, click on merch, click on ball no or bonus. You can definitely take advantage of that and get some great Dallas Stars merch. How about the captain shirt? How about, well,
This
black
is
shirt?
black.
Nope.
Black
All right.
shirt.
So before we go to our defense real quick, I haven't seen him yet. What do you think about travel? The Stars just tweeted out a pictures of players going to the plane.
Yeah, they're in
No
matching.
suits.
No, I knew it was going to be no suits, but I wasn't sure if they'd be matching. They are in matching joggers and a Dallas Stars t-shirt, and it looks like they're holding a Dallas Stars jacket. So when it's not a million degrees, they can wear full matching
Plus, they're a
tracksuits.
sports team. Why not
That's
wear
better, right?
Why not
What
wear
I
a
like.
tracksuit?
Yeah, they're
What
not
I
wearing
like.
just casual,
And
whatever
you
they
don't
want.
nobody sees you. You're going into a private airport. You're going on the plane. You're getting in a bus. You're walking in a hotel, and
That
you're
was
done.
the stupidest thing, right? I think
Suits for the travels.
Mike and Razor talked about it on the Podman
Yes.
Rush season preview or whatever they did. Like they would, since they were on the plane, they would see it every day. They'd come in their suits. They'd walk 8 feet from their car onto the tarmac, onto the plane, change immediately,
Take the suit off.
put the suit back on right before they land to walk to the hotel, get to their room, take the suit off.
Right.
Absolutely no sense.
The-
The game thing is a
the
different
suits
story.
for
but
game nights, I like. They're sort of a, it's special and it's a bit of a formal thing that way. But for the travel day,
it's
yeah.
silly.
But even the game nights, nobody
Yeah.
sees you. It's only because TV's
They
filming
want
them
that.
as
They
they're
want
coming
that
in.
picture as
Yeah.
they walk down the.
Yeah, and honestly,
Concourse.
let's you
They
think about
park
all the
underneath,
college
They
teams.
walk underneath. They go in the locker room. They walk underneath, get in the cars, and go to the bar. Well, they don't go to the bar anymore, but they go to wherever
to
they
the
go.
bar was the natural progression there.
In our first segment, we talked about the forwards, the real opening night roster. Now let's take a look at the defense, and we have a couple of clips to play. Luds, Alex Petrovic made the roster. We thought he would. I asked Petro yesterday when he found out. It was a week ago. So they did not tell him until last Tuesday. So today's Wednesday, the 8th. Basically, it was September 30th, I think it was. That's when he found out you need to go find a place to live here.
You don't want to tell guys. You really don't, because then other guys that they're hoping to get something out of or see that they still have a chance, they want to see that.
Yeah.
They want to see if they can continue to go. I mean, I think we kind of knew that he would be part of this. So I'm happy he's on.
Well, here's Petro speaking yesterday after practice about making the roster.
I think last year just kind of helped the team out and took advantage of my opportunity, and the coaching staff really liked that and seen that, and glad to be back with this guy and everyone else, and it's been good. So it's definitely a different feel than just coming in for playoffs.
He mentioned that to me too after the camera stopped. It felt totally different to him this year. It wasn't, I think he knew, especially 2 years ago, he was an AHL guy. Like he never felt like he had a shot to make the team. Then had a good playoff. Last year we thought he had a shot, and he didn't make the opening night roster. Didn't play in the regular season, really. And then he came up and had another. This year, I think he knew he had a chance, but he also, as you said, he wasn't resting on his laurels.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he's the kind of guy that he could be on an NHL roster for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and he's not going to play any different.
Yeah.
I mean, he could play, average 25 minutes a night, and when he comes back next season, he's still going to be the same guy because he understands who he is and what he has to do to stay in that lineup.
Well, Gully was asked about him yesterday, and here's Glenn's answer about why Petrovic.
Yeah, it was. It was. Actually, I think when Jim told him to get a place during training camp, it was a good event for everybody here. He's earned it. You guys know, you guys watching, he's earned it. He's earned every bit of it. And it's a good story of perseverance, right? Because he was in the league young and then was out of it, and now has worked his way back in. And he's been tremendous with our young players down in Austin, and he's got himself back here. It's a great story.
Well, so it was a week ago. What was the play where Bischel got beat on the offensive blue line, then Petro got beat on the blue? Was that the last game or the second to last game?
I believe it was just us two, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
that would have been the last game?
That was the last game. Yep. He already knew.
But
he already had a spot. He was done.
The good thing is they already committed to him before walking through it.
Well, I wanted to share one funny moment, too, because the entire time that they were doing that, after the first question, Liam Bischel grabbed a water bottle and pretended to hold a microphone because they have the adjacent stalls in the Stars practice rink in the locker room. Well, then he got asked about Bischel because, of course, he was having fun.
What have you seen from Bish? It seems like he's gotten a lot more mature.
I don't know about that. Can't say he's changed a whole lot in 2 months, but yeah, no, he's working hard though. I'll give him that. So he's I don't want to say too many good things. He's sitting right next to me. His head's already pretty big. So
how? And I wanted to show that not because I knew Sam would enjoy it, because Luds is sitting there going, "Why aren't they a pair?" Show the D pairs again. Luds.
I always wonder why it wasn't a can of beer instead of a bottle of water.
Well, he is
He's
Swiss,
old enough.
Yeah, barely.
You either are or you aren't.
Go ahead on this.
You know, I'm again, I think that Petro and Lundqvist are probably going to be jockeying for spots. And again, I know the edge is going to Nils right now, and he's earned that right for it to go there. But my question is why wouldn't you put Lyubushkin with Harley, so that if you have somebody coming in and out like a Petrovic, and we know that Petro's played with Bischel, so you know, and Bischel and Lundqvist played together last year at times when they came in. So I just think if you had Lyubushkin playing with Harley, it's more constant. I guess that's what I'm saying, is if Nils does come out and Petro comes in, Petro slides into the guy he's been with, Nils already playing with a guy that he's been with, and then Lyubushkin, Harley, Essa, and Merrill would be a pair. You know, 4 guys, which is going to be their top 4 guys probably anyways. You know,
how long of a leash would you give this Harley Lundqvist pair? Because they've clearly wanted to see this. It's been the pairing the entire camp.
They're obviously staying with it because they're, regardless of how it's going, they've never changed it.
How many games would you give that? Or what do you need to see from it, I guess, is a better way of looking at it.
Well, it's not. We're not looking at Thomas. You know, I mean, we're looking at Nils. And again, for me, it's going to be Nils has just got to be confident, but it's going to be what happens in his own zone. That's what I think. I think that there's a couple things that we saw in games where on the wall a couple times at the front of the net, sometimes he gets, you know, out positioned in front of the net. And so as long as they don't come back to bite him, then you're okay. But I think if those things tend to lead to quality chances and they score a couple goals on it, that stuff is all going to start creeping back in from a new, well, not new because Elaine's still there.
Right.
So the good news, that's good news.
But it is different, Elaine, right?
But I'm saying it's good because Elaine can keep on sending that home to Nils. This is how you're going to stay in the lineup. We've gone through this now for 1.5 years or 2 years, whatever it may be. So, and I think Elaine's a good communicator for him. And so, and again, I think there's probably a loyalty, not that there's not to Petro, but to Nils. I think Nils appears to be the kind of player, teammate that everybody's fighting for.
Sure.
They like him. They want him to be in the lineup. They want him to do well. So not that he's getting a little more rope than Petro, but there's going to be games, and I think Gully's even said it at times. I think you guys mentioned it. There's going to be games when you need some heavier bodies.
Change the lineup
against some teams, but that will be up front with Nils, and so that he understands that. But he's also going to say, when am I going to be a regular guy that can play? There's a lot of other. I mean, look at I don't want to compare Fox in New York to Nils.
That's different.
And I don't think they wouldn't have played together, would they? Anyway,
I mean, overlap, but no.
But they're not big guys, and Fox can play, but Fox is, you know, again, I think, did he win a Norris Trophy?
Did.
Yeah. So I don't want to put that on Nils, but I'm just saying there's smaller guys in the league that can play, and Nils probably wants that opportunity to play, and I bet he feels like he hasn't had that opportunity because when it did come to it, when the other coach was here, they didn't trust him apparently, and they take him out of the lineup.
We're already out of time. Tomorrow, the season begins. Stars at the Winnipeg
Yeah.
Jets, which actually is really appropriate because we didn't even have time to talk about Kyle Connor's contract. We will talk about that in the pregame and how that may affect Jason Robertson's next deal. And some other things. We didn't get the chance to talk about the Panthers and the Lightning and all the suspensions and fines and all the bad blood and games last night. Pre-game show, 6:30 tomorrow, Central Time. Stars, Jets. These three.
Game day.
Big thank you to Corey for joining us to finish our other 31. And, of course, for our producer, Ryan. We'll be here tomorrow night when the season starts for real.
Gotta get a
right here
physical
on
tomorrow.
DLL.
We all silly like the mayor.